Hey guys, hope you're having a wonderful day and welcome back to Bars and Barbells. I'm Sam and this is Phil, and today we have Andrew Dice Clay, a comedian on the channel.
First time that we're doing Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, I don't know who Andrew Dice Clay is.
This is somebody that you guys had recommended. I've heard his name before. I'm not familiar with anything from him, but I have heard the name Andrew Dice Clay. I think he's been talked about in terms of like historical comedians that have made an impact.
Well, he's performing here at Rodney Dangerfields, so that would mean he's from an older era, I would assume.
1987.
Yes.
Yeah. That's before our era.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we're coming to Andrew Dice Clay, partly because it's been in the comments on the recommendations, but also in our membership community, we held a poll of which comedians should we check out next, and Andrew Dice Clay actually tied with Wanda Sykes. So we're going to do both of them, Andrew Dice Clay and Wanda Sykes. So we've got first time that we're going to see anything from him. Let us know if there's something in particular we should check out other than the Rodney Dangerfields. Enough said, though. Let's check out Andrew Dice Clay.
All right. I'll tell you, folks, this next gentleman comes from Brooklyn, okay? All right. And I guess the best way to describe him is to say he's the typical boy next door. Say hello to Andrew Dice Clay. Okay, here we go now. Hey, Andrew. Hey. All right.
Boy next door.
Is that Arnold Schwarzenegger or what? Definitely going with the bad boy outfit.
Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Long came a Spidey, sat down beside he said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?"
What did we get ourselves into?
Jack and Jill went up the hill, both with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Little boy Blue. He needed the money. Was an old lady, lived in a shoe. She had so many kids, her uterus fell out. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Trim that pussy, it's so damn hairy. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her old dog a bone. She bent over. Rover took over. She got a bone of her own. I don't know. Yeah, good old Mother Goose. Remember her? I fucked her.
This might take the cake for most random comedic sketch.
I'm like, what is this nursery rhyme sketch going on right now? Sex and nursery rhymes, basically.
It's just so random. Like, I have no idea where we're going to go next.
And I'm just, because I don't know who he is, like, I don't know if this is his usual image or if he's, like, trying to portray somebody else.
I don't know. And I said Brooklyn at the beginning from Rodney, right? So he's got the New York accent to go along with the bad boy imagery as well.
But then Rodney also said he's your typical boy next door, which, like, clearly he's not. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can enlighten us.
Let's continue. See where we're going to go with these elegant nursery rhymes.
That's unbelievable, huh? So is that the girl, huh? Yeah. How long you going with her? 4 months, huh? You cheating? Yeah, not yet. Yeah, sure. Yeah, me too. But you got to be careful, you know, when you get a good one, because there's a lot of disease. You can't really cheat today. It's not like 4 or 5 years ago, where you could come home, lie with a straight face. They'd be like, "Where were you all night?" Having coffee with the guys. No, you weren't. You were cheating on me. No, I was having coffee. Really? Yeah. Yeah, sure I was, honey. But if you do cheat on her, do yourself a favor. Wear one of those condiments. You know what I'm talking about? But those things piss me off because they only come in one size. I mean, what a black guy's gonna do? Go for a fitting? Yeah, 3 feet, man. Extra pair, and I don't want to blow the roof off this sucker. Yeah. And think of the Chinese. Come on. Put a piece of gum on it. All right, so you're going with a 4 months, huh? All right. She throw a nice one. All right. Bottom line, you suck a good dick, yes or no? I mean, can she suck the chrome off a trailer and lay...
So did you, I'll rewind it sort of kill that punchline, but did you get it when he said it the first time?
Said what?
I can't remember what he said, but he
said, did she throw a good one or
Yeah.
something? I thought I knew he was referring to something sexual, but I didn't know what specifically.
I was just funny because I knew it immediately, and that's why I reacted and
True.
laughed immediately.
Yeah.
But I noticed that you hadn't responded.
Yeah.
Until he outright said
He goes, I wasn't sure what he was referring to specifically.
Right. But I knew immediately.
True.
So that's the difference between a male brain and a female brain. That's what I'm getting at, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Bottom line, you suck a good dick, yes or no? I mean, can she suck the chrome off a trailer and lay back with a beer afterwards? To me, that's a lady, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll tell you, today they don't suck dick the way they used to. They dabble in it. They lay there, they flick it, they smack it. Oh, look at the way it jumps. It can sing and dance too, now suck my cock, honey. And you know they don't know what they're doing, because the minute they start, they gotta look right into your eyes, like... It's like you're looking down at a golfer, you know? It's like, why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me? Don't look at me, suck my dick, concentrate! And juggle the balls, what are they, orphans, honey? It's a 3-piece set, work it, hone it, you can't party with the big boys, don't show up.
So animated.
I mean, they like us to go down on them. You ever see a vagina up close? It's frightening. It's like a haunted house down there. It's covered with shrubbery and weeds. You gotta cut through with a machete. And depending on their mood, sometimes they'll just lay there. Like you're not even in the room. You gotta check in with them. Honey, am I in the right ballpark? A little lower. Circle to the left. What are we, back in a truck in here? Because once you go down there, this ain't no 5-minute trip. This is a weekend. And I'll tell you something, after 10 minutes it gets boring, you know? That's why I wear a Walkman. Oh, yeah. And then they turn around and say I'm not sensitive. I don't understand that. My girlfriend, she's like, well, what about foreplay? I go, honey, didn't I smack you around already today? I like that once you're living with her, man. You'll hear things like, well, why do I always get the wet spot? Honey, be happy you're on the bed when I'm through with you. Look at the dog. He don't even have a pillow. He ain't complaining. So what if he'd had the same bowl? You got the fucking bed. I care about their needs.
I feel like this is Bill Burr 40 years before
Literally,
Bill Burr
just
came about.
savage.
And it's just rapid fire, I think, too. That's a little bit like Rodney Dangerfield style of punchlines that are rapid fire.
Yeah.
But it's so brash like Bill Burr.
Yes.
It's like combining those
As
two.
if they had a comedy baby. It's also funny because I was going to say, because you mentioned Rodney, they're in Rodney's club. This is, I feel like, such a different type of comedy or topic realm than Rodney would ever touch. So
Yeah, I think that's Rodney is very mainstream, right? Because he got into films as well. I don't know if Andrew Dice Clay has a lot of films, but I guess that's not really going to dictate where your career is going to go. But I just wonder if this played a role in his comedic stuff, like throughout his career, was this genre of comedy. Or because this is our first time checking him out,
just like
right?
a one bit thing.
Yeah, or if but I thought I remembered hearing about Andrew Dice Clay that he was, like I said, he had comedy that would push the envelope, so to speak.
Yes.
And Rodney Dangerfield,
time frame, I feel like.
And Rodney Dangerfield wouldn't do that.
No.
He does push the envelope, but nowhere near the same way.
He makes jokes like about his wife and stuff, but not as vulgar as that.
Yeah, I guess that's the point to get at it. It's more vulgar than Rodney Dangerfield is, because Rodney Dangerfield will say stuff like, his wife is so ugly or
like
whatever.
Nagging him or whatever. Yeah.
But this is more like, oh, you can't talk about that.
Yeah.
That he's talking about.
Like very blunt sexual jokes for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even have a pillow. He ain't complaining. So what if he'd had the same bowl? You got the fucking bed. I care about their needs. I mean, here, just tonight, we're a small group. I could tell you a story, right? Just tonight, this chick is sucking my dick, right?
Right.
It's a cute story, believe me. And she's like, don't come in my mouth. I go, honey, I don't want to fuck up your hair. We're in a nice restaurant. I'm telling you, that's why masturbation is king. Oh, yeah, you know it, I know it, so who we bullshitting, huh? I screwed everything in the house when I was a kid. Didn't make no difference to me. Socks, gloves. My mother's got a mink coat that doesn't need a hanger anymore. You see what I'm saying to you? I remember my mother going, we're having liver tonight. Yeah, well, I had it last night, Ma. It was good. And where the Japanese coming from? What is that? Didn't we drop 2 bombs on them a couple of years ago? What was in those bombs? Fertilizer? And they're the worst drivers. I mean, how do you drive with your eyes 3/4 closed, huh? You could blindfold these people with dental floss. You don't give them keys to a car. It's unbelievable what I see. I can't take it no more. I'm going out of my fucking mind. I mean, I go into these all-night, 24-hour convenience stores. They got people in there. People, things. These aren't even people. They don't even have a language, the things that work in there. You go in for soda, cigarettes. You're like, yeah, how much? How much? And they're like, and I'm like, you fucking geek. Where did they grow you, huh? What farm were you picked off of? I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the God's on. They should have one big sign at the airport that says, look, if you don't know the language, get the fuck out of the country. Take care.
Well,
that took a sharp twist very quickly. I was like, where did this come from?
That was kind of like, I just want to throw in some hate on the Japs at the end there.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah,
but
I don't think that would have done so well today.
I didn't really find it funny personally. But
no, I didn't find it funny either. But it was just like, I think like you have cultural jokes that still exist, but that was kind of like
just not relevant.
No, I mean, because I can agree with the idea of, if somebody's living in your country, you want them to try to speak the language. I mean, we've experienced that ourselves, being in a country that, doesn't speak English, right? And you're trying to learn their language. It's tough, but you want to like at least make an attempt to do so, right?
For sure.
But I think it was just the way, because that went along with everything else that he was talking about in this, that it was like in your face commentary that's supposed to evoke a reaction out of you.
Yeah.
So I think that was the same thing, but it was just so random that we took
caught
that.
Me off guard. I was like, what even is happening?
Twist
right
to we're gonna throw in a racial joke now, and it was like, I don't know. I guess it was more animated, and that's what I felt like made it less funny for me personally on that last joke. Anyways, enough about the last joke. The rest of it. I think I got more of a feel for his style of comedy as it went on. In the beginning, I was like kind of unsure where we were going to go with it, what to expect, the nursery rhymes, all that stuff. I was like, what are we doing here? But I can clearly see why Andrew Dice Clay has the shock value factor.
Yeah,
within his,
and now having seen that whole thing, I get the nursery rhyme thing. Like he was leading into all these other sexual innuendos and jokes and stuff. So that kind of makes sense in hindsight.
Well, it's definitely a shock value routine.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've seen many other. We've done a lot of comedy on the channel, and like I said, Bill Burr is one of the more shock value kinds.
I think Patrice O'Neill had one or two that were a little bit like
vulgar,
more like woo.
Yeah, I would say it was vulgar, but this was more like directed at women, I guess, more in a demeaning way of vulgarity.
Yeah.
Right? And Patrice's was not. It was more of just like
in general,
what's funny about sex, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think like in terms of the vulgarity, that's there. It's been there on other jokes, but I think from the standpoint of the way it was directed by Andrew Dice Clay, that he's taken the most like inflammatory approach, I would say,
for sure,
that I can recall out of anybody off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head either. Like maybe Bill Burr, but I feel like even he doesn't take it that far.
Yeah, I mean, so I can see why it would have really stood out at the time for somebody doing something that nobody else was doing. Also, like, we're talking 1987, so we're talking 40 years ago, when it was probably looked upon even worse than today for somebody doing it. So I imagine it probably appealed to a lot of people.
Well, this audience seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, I wouldn't say I disliked it, but I wouldn't say it was my favorite, so maybe I should check out more from him. It was more of like the shock value factor, but I didn't think it was like very clever. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. I feel like for me, like the moments that I did have where I was laughing, it was more of like you said, more of like oh my God, I can't believe he said that laughing, than like I actually found his joke funny kind of laughing.
Yeah. Some of them were funny.
A couple of them.
But that's why I like Rodney's. Like we're talking about Dangerfields, right? So like Rodney has got like clever punchlines that you're wondering what he's going to say next. This was like more, oh, I can't believe he said that. What the hell else is he going to say?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
So you'd agree with that?
Yes,
Confirm.
I would.
All right. Well, let us know.
I personally would say I'd probably watch something else from his and see how that is, and then make a decision from there if I wanted to see more.
Well, let us know if there's anything else from Andrew Dice Clay that we should check out, and whether this is representative of all his bits or this is one of the more inflammatory bits that's out there and why it's so popular. But this is our starting point. So you guys got to see us react to his inflammatory comments. So let us know what you thought of our reaction by hitting that like button down below, hitting us with a comment, hitting the subscribe button, the notification bell. We drop 2 videos every single day: music, comedy, sports, and history. And if you want to join us on that journey, we'd love to have you. So we'll see you then.
Join us. Thanks for watching, guys. See you then.